Did it. Okay, are you on? I got a live video going here at least. Let's see. Tag friend, share group. I've never done Facebook Live, so I don't know what to expect. Am I live? Who's watching this? Is anyone watching this? Let's see what these buttons do. Choose how to go live. Live video. I don't know. Am I live? Tag friends. What's this? Sent the invite to Warren. Okay. And what's that do? Hey, I have a viewer, Casey. Hi, Casey. Waiting for our guest of the hour. We're talking today with Warren Madden. We will be. He is sort of executive producer on Coffee Breaks, the movie I'm in. Hey, guys. Hi, Robert. Hey, man. Robert, man, I'd still like to work with you one day. Hi, John. How are you doing? Casey, you know you rock out there in Florida. You're like one of the only things I like about Florida, so keep rocking that. Um, it's good to see you guys on here. I'm waiting for my guest of the hour to show up here. We had to switch from Instagram to Facebook because Instagram kept losing our videos. So I did all these brilliant interviews. Warren wants to be in my video. Yeah, man. Of course, he's the guest of the hour. Let's go. Adding Warren to the video. There it is. Let's see what's going on here. We got 7 viewers. Hi, everybody. There's Warren. Warren, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
I can. Actually, your audio is fantastic. Much better than on the other channel. You know.
Yeah.
So, hey, that's great to see you.
Great seeing you.
I was just discussing how we had to leave Instagram because we kept losing our videos for these promotions. You know.
Yeah. I don't know what the deal is with that. I mean, it appears that Facebook has something within their the way theirs is set up that it finalizes the video and everything. You don't have to go through anything to, like you're not going to lose a video as long as you post the video. It's going to be up there.
Right. And Instagram gives you like one-time choice. And if you miss that button, or if for some reason that button doesn't appear, which is what happened to me, the button doesn't come up, then you just lose it. So
that's it, then it's gone. It's lost forever. It's like you can't find it again after that.
That's it. Right. And man, let me tell you, I searched and searched because I thought it was like really, really brilliant stuff, and it just didn't pay off.
Oh yeah. I mean, everything that you do, anytime you do an interview, man, I look forward to it, and I know it's going to be a good interview. You know what I mean? It's like,
well, thank you.
Yeah.
Well,
you do a great job.
Well, so far so good, right?
Yeah.
We'll see how you do. I only for those who don't know,
I don't really have too much. Well, no, I'm just
yeah,
kidding.
you're kidding, right? I know. For those who don't know,
I paid for myself, but no, I'm just kidding.
Warren and I are like we're really good friends. He's like the best friend I've never met. I heard that term the other day.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, and so
the best friend yet to meet.
Yet to meet. That's what it is, right? The best friend I've yet to meet.
One day we will.
That's right. That's right. You're sort of acting as producer then on Coffee Breaks. I mean, I know you're not like producer, but what is your role? I mean, other than outside of we'll talk about your character, but what is your role as of right now? You're like facilitator. I mean, because you're the guy who's like everybody's sort of go-to contact, at least my go-to contact. So, I mean, so how is that? Are you like working?
I feel like I'm a go-between kind of guy. Like it's like, you got Tracy, you got Matt, and I'm sort of like that go-between. Matt chooses not to do Facebook, so it's like, and I've done like a lot of the casting by just reaching out to people, on social media and stuff like that. And it's been working out really well. I mean, we've managed to fill some roles by doing that, just going on Facebook, going on Instagram, and just, bothering people. It's like message somebody and say, hey, would you, I'm involved in this film that's coming up. It's Coffee Breaks, and just curious, would you be interested in auditioning for a part in the movie? You know, and
Right.
I haven't really like met with any resistance. I haven't like contacted or got with anybody where they're like, oh, you know what? No. You know, it's been pretty
Right.
good. I've been pretty lucky, I feel like,
Well,
in that area, you know. So,
certainly once anyone reads the script, they're hooked. That's what we've noticed. Anybody who's read the
oh
script,
yeah,
you know, shout out to Tracy Simpson, the writer. You know, anybody who's read
absolutely.
the script, that's what happened to me. You know, and just like you're talking about, so let's back up just a frame here.
Okay,
Like you said, I want to point out that that you used Facebook, you used Instagram to reach out to actors. That you
absolutely.
basically did the casting sort of through social media, which I think is huge to tell other actors because I tell
Yeah.
them, you know, and so you're saying essentially that networking is what got people in this movie.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, you know, I added different people that I either admired or, you know, I just found people that I'm like, I'm looking at them and I just get this sense of something there. You know, there's something magical or special about somebody, you know, that's in the entertainment industry, and I add them, and I'm like, okay, I know this is somebody that's gonna, you know, that I want to work with, that I'd love to work with, you know, and you just get that, you know, you get that intuition.
Sure, sure. Your video
Right.
is a little bit flickering on and off. Sometimes we lost you, but you caught that intuition about the last comment you made about people who you get a feeling, a vibe about an actor.
Right, yeah, I get a vibe about an actor, and I'm like, okay, this is like somebody that I feel like I would like to work with, you know.
Right. So you're
It's,
sort of casting director. Uh,
yeah, I feel like that's what I've been doing, you know. It's like I received the audition initially, or even one of them, you know, like Tracy or Matt will receive the audition, and we just kind of go over it together and
and you're talking
see if
about Tracy Simpson, the writer, and Matt Sly, the director.
exactly, yep. And yeah, so it's like, you know, and it's worked out really well. I'm real excited for the movie. Like
Yeah.
I know you were talking before in interviews that you don't want to give too much away, and I feel like I'm the same way. You don't want to give too much of the script away. Like we know what the script's about. We know
Right.
the script inside and out, you know, by now. And so, but we don't want to give too much away because we want people to be excited for when the movie comes out. And you know,
Right. It's an interesting balance to build hype without giving away the movie. And lately, I
right,
feel like you know Hollywood tends to want to give away the film. I feel like I've seen the ending in the trailer a lot. You know, I was like,
right,
oh well,
yeah,
there's the
oh,
ending.
absolutely.
I mean,
You know, but and that's the thing
you
about
know,
trailers is they always give us the best stuff. We always get the good stuff,
yeah.
you know, like the money shots and you know everything that they really put into the movie. It's like there it is, you know. It's like we've already seen the movie, the parts that we're really going to enjoy. It's like the rest of it's, you know,
How do you get the audience right? How do you hook an audience? You know,
right.
obviously you want to show your best stuff, right? Obviously you do because that's how you
Oh
hook an
yeah.
audience. But how do you hook an audience without giving away a movie? It's tough, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah, it's
Uh,
not easy. You know, you got. I think there needs to be a balance in there somewhere. You know what I
right.
mean?
And so that's what you
You
know.
need to give them a little bit of the. You give them some of the good stuff, but give them some of the, you know,
What if
give them a
what you
little
know?
beat. But they always throw the good stuff in there. It's always the good stuff, you know.
Maybe you have to make a movie so jam packed with good stuff that there's just never, you know, there's just an
Any bad
overflow.
stuff.
You could right, you
Yeah.
could cut an hour and a half trailer. I mean, realistically, I think to make a sellable film, any downtime I think doesn't work. You know, I mean,
Right.
realistically, I was talking to a guy the other day. Well, I follow a guy who gives a lot of film advice, and he was saying that, you know, watch your movie with other people, and when they get bored, go back and edit your movie. You know, to make that
Yeah, that's a good idea. Actually, that's actually a great idea.
because what watch till when
I
they get
feel
bored.
like with this movie, I feel like with this movie though, I think we have something where we're going to be able to keep our audience from start to finish. You
Agreed,
know,
agreed. I definitely think
there's
that's
the talent, you know, besides the story, I think the talent that is involved in this movie is going to be able to capture the essence of these characters in such a way that the audience is going to want to continue to watch. They're not going to want to look away. It's like, they're going to be enthralled and, all eyes on the screen, the whole time. That's how I feel about coffee breaks. And I mean, that's what the script we have. We have a great script. We have a great cast, so much great talent. You in the lead as Michael. That's phenomenal. I see that. I mean, I've seen your reels. I know how you're like a really great actor.
Oh, let's not get crazy. I'm all right. Man, the competition here in LA, man, it's rough. I appreciate you saying that I'm a good actor. I was cast as the lead, and I appreciate you saying that. But moving to LA, it's a scary thing. I've been looking at some jobs, and let me tell you, there's plenty out here. I get like 10 or 12 offers a day. I'm not taking everything, but it's the competition is stiff.
Oh yeah, but you have those. If you have one of those big companies and you have an opportunity there, it's like you just kind of have to like jump. You have to take that leap and just go with it. It's like
there's a lot of big companies out here that are just casting like
ABC, CBS, and all them. I bet they're like their television. Because they're going into pilot season 2 out there.
Well, okay, so now when I say I haven't. That's like agency level, that stuff. So I'm not privy to those because I'm not an agent. But when I see is a lot of commercials right now, like but big companies, Amazon, Taco Bell, big time stuff. So I swear off.
If you could do those commercials, even if you can get those commercials, that's big.
But I swore off commercials, right? I said, okay, I'm not doing any more commercials because I didn't want to become the commercial guy. But when I got here, I'm like, man, if you want money, you can make a lot of commercials.
Oh yeah.
So
probably a lot of money making commercials too.
You not like there used to be, but if you get a usage fee, usually it's like, it's 2 separate pieces for those who don't book a lot of commercials. It's 2 separate pieces. It's a session fee, like for you to come on and do your work. And then it's a usage fee, which is the usage fee pays for them to show it on television or internet or whatever they want to do. And, and then often there's an agency fee that goes on top of it. So it's almost like, it's a ton of money, but you get it in sort of different payments. Originally, your work though isn't highly paid. There's a lot of extra work that isn't highly paid out here. We're talking,
for extras, you probably get $50 to $100
a day. You mean?
Yeah, a day maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, because
there's some companies that'll pay up to $300, but it just depends on who it is, that you get in with. So if you hear anything in the background, the apartment complex I live in, they're doing the lawn maintenance. So
nice. Okay, so let's talk about that real quick. My feeling, right? Anytime you're on location, anytime you're outside, there's someone with a leaf blower. I guarantee it. If you're shooting a movie outside, there's a guy with a leaf blower. So the fact that you have a leaf blower, it just adds to the magic of being in the film.
Behind us here, going back and forth with a rider mower, back and forth, right by my window.
Okay. Oh, even better. Oh, even better. My best on-set experience was the guy hammering the metal pole with the sledgehammer. It was 2 men taking turns, ding, 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 while we were trying to shoot. And we were out in a public park, but it was some, and you can shoot real movies in these small public locations. I mean, big stuff for Netflix. Yeah. We don't block off the scene. We don't do any of that. We're just out, real world shooting. These guys are out there. I mean, so if you don't have a leaf blower, if you want to know what it's like to be in the movies and you're not in the movies, just anytime you go to talk, just start a leaf blower. Then you know what it's like to be making movies. There's always a leaf blower going on. So I'm glad you brought that authenticity to this interview. We'll just wait. The other one you get is the plane going overhead.
Anything, but the video keeps pausing for some odd reason.
Your video's going up and down too. It's almost like being on a roller coaster. Woo! There's Warren's chin, and there's Warren's head.
Or the TV set vertical is not set. We're on an old 90s CRT television, and it's just going up and down like that. Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
So tell us, is that a stuffed elephant behind you? What is on? I see Hello
Oh,
Kitty,
that's my daughter's. My daughter's. She has like backpacks and stuff, and
and that's
she's like, really, yeah, that's her thing.
so we're calling it
Um,
your daughter's
yeah. Oh,
backpack,
oh,
right?
I see. You're trying to call me out. You're trying to call me out. He's like, come on, Warren, come clean. It's
Come
yours.
clean about okay, so that's a good segue. I know you have lots of collectible stuff. You are like
Right.
me in the fact that you and I, again, we're kindred spirits. You and I, like I said, we're the best friends
Right.
that haven't met yet. But you
Exactly.
you love lunchboxes. I love cereal premiums. So tell us about some of the stuff that really drives you. Obviously movies. Obviously you are the most involved in Coffee Breaks, the film. You're big time on that. But what drives you outside of film? Like, tell us a little bit about Warren.
Well, yeah, I
With a
mean, as
focus
far
on collectibles.
as well, I'll tell you, there's one thing that we share together that also we share with Aaron as well. And that's all of us have been in the video game business,
That's right.
and collectibles. I
Aaron
mean,
Kucharski.
we had an anime shop. I mean, we did collectibles, we did toys, mainly 80s and 90s toys I was involved with. And then the lunch boxes, yeah, I have roughly about 107, I think, in my collection, maybe 108 boxes altogether. My favorite being the Munsters, and probably the highest value one that I have in the collection, is like, I think, 1,000, I think, right now, something
Sure.
like that.
And are
Easily.
you finding, I'm finding a lot of stuff in the collectibles industry really sort of weirdly fluctuating. Like you and I talked about it off camera a little bit, but
Mhm.
I was telling you about VHS tapes for some reason are skyrocketing. And so are
Yeah.
you finding that because I'm finding some of the stuff that I really love from the 60s and 70s is sort of decreasing in value while
Gotta,
some of these
gotta
other
tell
items are
you a
shooting up,
story. I
you
gotta
know?
tell you a story about VHS. I was at a local flea market and I missed out by maybe, and this is VHS, this is a VHS related story. I'm at a local flea market, right? And I'm looking and I'm like, this guy's got the big box horror, and we know how awesome the big box horror films are VHS.
Right.
I mean, you can get movies that are 300, 500, like way up there in price. And this guy, literally, one guy, he bought over 1,000 of these big box horror films on
Wow.
VHS from this
Loaded.
one dealer, right? One
Right.
vendor, $250.
Man.
Yeah, I was like, oh, my timing sucks. It's like if I could have just been just a little bit quicker there.
Sure.
If I could have
Right.
just got there just a little bit sooner, that would have been me. Because I mean, I would have been like, yeah, I'm sold.
Right.
Don't even let anybody else look at it.
So
But
So as a collectible guy, then it's more about the deals you didn't buy than the deals you bought that you got stuck with, right? Like,
well, I mean, yeah, sometimes you get like, I mean, yeah, you get deals where you're like, oh, this is a great deal. Or, like with the VHS, I have gotten some really good stuff, for like a quarter a piece, and stuff like that. Like I got this Flash Gordon, the movie Flash Gordon, the one with
yeah, yeah.
with the football player guy, Sam, I can't remember
Oh,
his
yeah,
name.
yeah. Yeah, that guy, man, that guy's all over the place. I see him at cons
Yeah,
all
he's
the
doing
time.
all kinds of like he's doing conventions and
Conventions.
signing and all that stuff.
Yeah, Lori and I, my wife, we see him at cons all the time, that guy.
Right.
Yeah, I
And
sold
I
that
at one
poster. I used to
point
have the one sheet for that. Oh, go on. I'm sorry. I'm interrupting
that's all right. Yeah. I think I had one too, but it was like not in great shape. But yeah, I had a VHS copy, the original 1981 or 82 release of the movie, and it was like $100 at one point,
you. Yeah,
and I got it for 25 cents,
right.
And it's like,
I
so
mean,
yeah, you can
yeah.
find I found video game deals like that, N64 games in a quarter box at a flea market. I said, how much do you want for them? He's like, it's a quarter box. So
Sure.
I'm like, so each of these are a quarter? He said, yeah. I'm like, I grabbed literally everything in the box. You know, I was like, can I just move this stuff over here and take the box? And he's like, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right.
But I'm sure you've had those deals, you
Yeah.
know.
As a collectible guy, the thrill of the hunt and that like finding something that perceived value, because I never end up seeming to sell it. I go, oh, this is worth a lot, but if you don't sell it, it ain't worth
I'm
nothing,
gonna
right?
sell
So
this, man. I am gonna sell this. And
so
then it
sell
goes
it.
in the closet, in a box, a bin, and it's put away.
There it is. And Lori's like, Jay, you can buy that only if you sell it. And I'm like, oh yeah, yeah, no, I'm gonna as soon as I get
Oh,
home,
I'm
and
gonna
then
sell it.
right.
Absolutely. It's out of here.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I've got buckets of magic tricks now that haven't been sold because I collect vintage magic. So
that's awesome.
yeah, I just this weekend, like last weekend, I scored this really great collection of old magic tricks, and I was doing them for the family. And I'm not like a magician, don't get me wrong. I can't walk on stage. I'm not
No,
like
I can see it. I can see it.
but I like to do little tricks, and that stems from my childhood, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
I think that's a lot of it. I know you're a huge fan of Land of the Lost.
Yeah.
And we have cast members now on coffee
Yes,
breaks
we do.
from Land
Yeah.
of the Lost, right? So
Absolutely.
tell us about that. I mean, you're the one who got them involved. You're the one who cast them. I mean, so tell us about that. Or not, maybe not
I
accepting
pitched, I
cast them, but
pitched I pitched Wesley the idea of the script,
Wesley,
the idea.
right? Uh-huh.
Wesley Ure. Um, I I pitched him the idea with the script. I told him about the character, and he said, "Oh, tell me more." So I gave him some information, and we gave him the sides, and he read what he read of it, and he was like, "Oh yeah, that's great." He goes, "Can I come in with clown shoes on and goggles and something else?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, yeah, I can see it." You know, I mean, it was a joke,
Right.
but what's the joking around with me? He said he's a very funny guy, and then I told him that I wanted to have Kathy on as well, and then he contacted her and said, "Hey, do you want to read the script?" And she said, "Yeah." And then I told her we're offering her the role of mom, and I'm playing Greg or Dad, and so she's playing my wife in the movie, which is also exciting because I get to work with her, and I get to work with you in that scene too because you're going to be there. It's the Christmas scene,
Right.
and I don't want to give too much away because it's a very very important scene
Sure.
to the movie. The way I feel like it is, for both your character and Liz for her character of Alicia. And yeah, it's
We lost Warren again. He was telling us fabulous. Go ahead.
because I'm literally touching nothing.
Man,
I'm
could,
not,
yeah.
I'm not going,
So right,
trying
like you were saying, right, like you were saying, though, that scene has every major character in it, and then on top of it, it has these Hollywood actors and yourself.
right.
There's like all these Hollywood actors and you. So how does that feel?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, this is going to be a first for me. Although I have this one project coming up where I get to work with Al Doshna, who he worked. He was in the movie 1941
Oh, okay.
with John Belushi, and I think Dan Aykroyd was in the movie,
Right.
and Eddie Deason was also in the movie. Eddie Deason was in Grease 1 and 2, and he's been in a lot of movies,
Right.
and also for animation, he was I think it was Dexter's Laboratory. He was Mandark,
I think
but he's not
yeah,
in the
I
movie.
remember seeing
I
his
would
name in the
love,
credits. Right.
right. I would love for him to be in this movie that I'm doing, but he's not. He's not in the movie. But Al is in the movie, and like I said, he's done some Hollywood stuff, and so I get to work with him. So that'll be good. It'll be I play sort of I guess a Charles Manson reject kind of guy, I think is what it is.
A subpar Manson?
Yeah, subpar Manson. So it's like how much
Really?
further down can we go with it?
Well, I mean, maybe, you know, if you bought Charles Manson on Wish, right? I mean, Charles Manson's like the best there is. So
There you
everyone
go.
is subpar.
You know, I got that 70s photo t-shirt that I have
Yeah.
that I decided to keep from my collection to use. And, you know, he'll have the Converse and the bell bottoms and, you know, and, you know, some of the dialogue I think I shared with you and you thought was funny.
Yeah.
So,
It,
you
so,
know.
but you know, Charles Manson's right. Like, so everyone is a subpar Charles Manson. I mean, except for maybe like, you know, Bundy or Gacy. I mean, everybody else, right, cuts lower than him. So I mean, so he's like, if you're
Pretty
gonna
much.
go be a weirdo, you might as well go. He's the gold star, right? I mean, so
Yeah, he wins, you
yeah,
know.
yeah. So,
He wins the contest,
he
you know.
wins. That's what I'm saying. Is there's no way to beat that. I mean, yeah. So I mean, and no one would
Yeah,
want to.
really,
But if you
yeah.
get, but drawing an inspiration from him as an actor could be pretty funny. You
Yeah,
know.
well, what I decided to, you know, and I was thinking about it because I mean, and here's another actor from our movie, from Coffee Breaks, and that's Scott Crane.
Yeah.
I shared it with Scott, and Scott was like, you know, you could play it many different ways. You could play it flamboyant, you know, or you could play, you know, or however, whichever
Oh,
way
I
you
love
want.
it. Right.
Serious, you know, or you could play it flamboyant, or you could just make fun of Charles Manson, you know,
I,
which would make the Manson fans really upset, you know.
you know, yeah,
But
you could do like the South Park version of Charles Manson, which is my favorite. you know, you know, I mean, right? Scott Crane, what a fantastic actor! What a brilliant idea! Because you know they always tell us, right? The first thing as actors that you do is do it the way you wouldn't do it. So, like, is there a way
right,
to like do it
play
wrong?
it
Yeah,
opposite,
right. It's
play it as an opposite kind of
yeah,
thing.
and then once you see how not to do it, then you'll know how to do it. You know, as an actor, right? That's what they tell us. Like once you see how that's
Absolutely.
like, what's the worst way to do it? Oh, now you know how to do it. Yeah. So,
Right, right.
you know, and there's all these little tips they give us, right, as actors that you're supposed to reach for or do for, you
Oh
know,
yeah.
and it's just like anything else. Like, you know, okay, so when my wife was having babies, you know, you go to Lamaze, right? Yeah, I know you have children. We took Lamaze because we do all this stuff, but as soon as you get in there, you're like, poof, that stuff goes away, right? Like I don't, you know,
Right.
I'm in there going
Yeah,
hee
you know,
hoo to myself.
when my wife when we were going through that with my wife, I was like, okay, here's what I'm looking at. Okay, I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna try to get her through the breathing thing, right?
Right,
We're gonna
right.
do
That's all you
we're
can
gonna
do.
do
Yeah,
this.
right.
We're gonna do this.
Yeah,
And then it's like we might as well be in the hospital going through the motions of it actually happening
sure.
because what I experienced in the hospital was the same thing that I experienced in the Lamaze class. So there you go.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying is that you get on set and just like anything else, all my training, all my tips, all my techniques, poof, and I just do
They
stuff.
go right out of your head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I, you know, and then I'm like, oh my God. And then I look back on it. I watch my own reel. I know you give me props for being this actor that I supposedly am, but I watch my reel and I go, oh my God, I wouldn't do it like that anymore. Oh my God, that's terrible. Oh my God, I can't show that to anyone because I feel like now I would do it totally different, you know, like, and I feel like,
That's the
okay,
thing as actors, we're so self-critical. You know, I've seen some of the stuff that I've done where I did one thing that it never ended up in a film, and I did it and I was like, oh, why did I do it that way? You know, what was I thinking? You know,
why did I do it that way?
happens,
Right.
you know.
Yeah. I mean,
The
so
facial gesturing, I noticed like when I was trying to do this one part, I was going overboard. I'm like, okay, you know, you're doing too much of the eye, you know, like your eyebrows up and down, this and that, you know, shifting eyes and stuff. And I'm like, I'm going too far with this. Let me try it a different way. And I found it to be more natural, you know.
right.
So
I always find like, okay, so sometimes I feel like, okay, maybe I'm not emotional enough. Maybe I'm not, you know, enough of facial expression. Maybe I'm not. And then it always comes back to just be yourself. Like, you know, for me, like, you know, right. Like, but I always think
right.
like, oh, I need to really be like pissed. And so when I see the tape, the whole time I'm going, you know, and I'm like, dude, why did you do it
Get
that
mad at
way?
yourself.
You know,
You're getting pissed that you're not getting pissed enough, or not, or you're
Right.
too pissed.
Right.
You know, like I'm overacting, or I'm overreaching, or I'm not reaching far enough.
That's
You
what it
know.
is. And so that balance, right? I think that's exactly it. And so whenever I watch, like I said, every scene in my reel, I think, oh God, I can't wait to replace that with something better. I can't wait to replace that with something better. And, and I submit my reels and I don't get picked up. And then I think to myself, oh my God, I'm terrible. And of course you're not going to get every role, but immediately I go in my head to, what are you doing? Don't show people that.
Like your own worst critic. I mean, that's really it, man. It really is.
But you don't have
I've
that
had
moment.
fun with some of the roles, though. I've had like a lot of fun with some of the roles. Like I'm involved in this one series of films from Joel D. Wynkoop, who was a filmmaker and he's sort of a cult movie actor here in Florida and in Tampa. And I've done his character from his comic book, Captain Proteus, twice, and I've had fun with that character. And I think he wants me to maybe do the third film. I'm not sure yet. He hasn't contacted me yet for it. But I've done the first two, and the first one was during the pandemic, so we were inside. So he says, "Look, I'm going to leave it all in your hands." So I had to direct myself, do the acting. It's not easy, but I did it. It's like
Right.
I would never want to be the director of a film where I had to direct myself. I would be like, okay, somebody else is going to direct me in the scene, so I can just do the acting because I don't want to try to go through the directing of it.
That's how I feel too. That's how I feel. Exactly the same way. Right. And directors want you to be an artist. They want you, okay, no, what I want is your interpretation. Like Matt says that to me. I want you to bring the character to life. Matt Sly, the director, Coffee Breaks. I'm bringing that back up. And, and I'm saying to myself, he's like, be an artist. And I'm like, no, Matt, tell me how you want me to do it.
Right. Yeah. A lot of actors want the director to be like right there and saying, this is what I want.
Yeah.
A lot of actors, that's what they want. I mean, there are, after a while, there are actors where the director says, look, I feel like you can play it the way you want to because that's going to be the way I want it. At some point in your career, you'll have directors going, well, here's the deal. You can play the role. I've seen that done like Robert De Niro. They'll say, they'll just throw it to him and they'll be like, we know you can bring it to life the way you're going to bring it to life.
Just do it. Right.
Do it.
De Niro, though, I mean, let's be realistic. Yeah. How many people are that? Yeah. One, right. 10. I mean, nobody, right? So, yeah, I mean that. I feel you though. When you're De Niro, you're willing to shave your teeth for a movie. That's. I wonder, right? Like Warren, as an actor, are you willing to shave your teeth for a movie? Like, I'm not. I'm not willing to cut my teeth in half.
No.
Right. That's why I'll never be Robert De Niro, right? Because that's what it takes to be Robert De Niro. Is the sacrifice is unreal.
Yeah. I mean, you really have to. Yeah. I mean, there's so many things. Like, talk about a trooper.
Right.
That's really.
I mean,
I mean, there's some things that I'm sure I'll probably not feel comfortable with, but I'm not at that point yet. They got to like present it to me like whatever it could be, and then say, okay, well, I don't really feel comfortable with that, but
Right. So have you thought as an actor, and I love this question, I always ask this question, is there a scenario that you're like, I'm done? Like for me, let me give you mine, and you've watched me tell this story 1,000 times, but the scene in Jaws where that damn thing comes in the boat and he's pinned against the wall and it's claustrophobic, it's water up to here, and there's a shark in your face. Man, I would have just been like dead. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't even have
you
filmed
out.
it.
You would have been passed
done.
out. You would have been like, I'm done.
They would have been like, get Eric Stoltz in here. This guy sucks. They would have replaced me with anyone, right? I mean, right. So do you have that moment? Is there a scenario when you're watching a show and you think to yourself, I'm done? As an actor, I couldn't pull that off.
I'm thinking about a particular scenario like that. Kurt Russell did that movie Backdraft, right? And I saw that he was on this sliding sort of, the wood, it was like a platform. and he was on it, and he was sliding down. He's in full, like fireman gear, and he's sliding down this thing, and you got pyrotechnics going on underneath him, and he's got to fall. You know what I mean? He's falling.
No, that's a no, huh?
That's a big no.
Now people said to me, but
so
okay,
I would have been
people say to
doing
me,
the
well,
pass out. I would have been doing the pass out you're talking about.
Right, you would have been like hanging from the rope, just passed out, right? Like dangling.
It's like, hey, Warren, wake up, wake up, wake up. We're shooting a scene. You're not passed out. Your character's not passed out in this scene. Wake up.
Right, but if they want actual fear, that you would bring it, right?
Oh, I would be able to bring it because I would
I'd be
literally be scared.
I mean, so they did. Now I know you live in Florida. You haven't always, right? You're not. You moved to Florida at some point.
No, I'm a St. Pete native.
Oh, you are.
I'm one of the rare, as they call the rare ones. The
rare ones.
Because I'm from here and I'm still here.
But you and I know you want to leave. You and I know that.
I have been wanting to leave. We've been thinking about Colorado or something just to, change the scenery, and so that I could get closer to out west because I want to be,
Right, and you've talked about
where the action is,
You've talked about studio building and combining with Matt Sly, the director of Coffee Breaks. Right.
Yeah.
So Florida to Colorado though is quite the shocker. Like that's a huge change.
Oh, it is. It's big.
And they have snow in Colorado and not in Florida, right?
Yeah.
So
I've been aware. I've been looking out the door here during winter to see if we even get like just a slight snow drizzle, but nothing yet.
During winter, you don't mean today, but you mean like
normally
during winter seasons, right?
Well, always snowing. It's always snowing in Miami, so let's keep that.
It's always snowing in Miami, right?
Different story, though. Yeah,
it's true. It's true. In Miami, so Miami, right? Like obviously that's what Miami Vice is based off of, is a lot of cocaine, right? Your video's frozen again, which is wild. But you're back. So Miami really does have a cocaine problem. Is that a thing? I mean, I'm assuming, right? Is that?
I saw Miami Vice. I remember that back in the '80s. So I'm thinking, it probably was a thing.
Well, right.
Narcotics division of
Now, since I'm in California and I've never been, my parents go, you've been to Florida, Jay, when you were a kid, but okay, so since I've never technically been, I don't have a memory. How far is St. Petersburg?
You probably don't remember anything outside of SeaWorld or Walt Disney World.
Yeah, Epcot, something like that, right? I don't remember any of it, but I'm sure my parents took me over that area. So where is St. Petersburg in reference to Miami? How far are you?
Oh, wow. Yeah, well, I'm somewhere in the middle of the state, on the left side of it.
Okay.
And Miami's at the bottom.
Okay.
Yeah.
So right. So when San Francisco and now where I live, it's a 10-hour drive. So let's say you're to drive, how far?
Yikes. Guesstimate, because I've never actually, I've never looked that up to see how long it would take me.
You've never driven to Miami?
No, never been to never been to Miami. It was at one point on my list of things to do. Let's go to Miami. But I mean, I've gone to Orlando, Cocoa Beach. I've been all over.
But you never went to like a convention or something in Miami?
Nope. We had planned to. We were going to fly to Miami. Me and a buddy of mine, we were going to fly to Miami and go to this convention that they had in Miami, but we never did it. We were like, what, let's just go to Orlando and we'll stay in Orlando and go to that convention. And they have this one called MegaCon.
So right.
Year. And so we go to that. We've been
MegaCon.
To that. You're familiar with
He's one of the Transformers, right? I think he's one of the Transformers. MegaCon, he's like third in line.
He's like the Wish version. He's the Wish version. Yeah,
exactly. He's the Wish version. MegaCon. I bet you there's a knockoff toy called MegaCon. There just has to be.
I bet you there's like a Halloween mock-up costume of MegaCon.
MegaCon.
Somebody just made it up, and Yeah, he's like a reject Bumblebee or
There you
something, you
go.
know.
Or yeah, he's almost
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Megatron, but he's
Yeah,
Megacon.
he's like a potato bug instead of instead of Bumblebee or something, you know.
Right. Or he's like a rubber band
Yeah.
gun instead of a true handgun like Megatron is. Okay, so anyway, so you go to MegaCon in Orlando. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
it's a excellent convention. You got all your celebrity guests, of course, and then you got all the 80s toys, which I mean, we're always like excited to see the 80s toys,
right.
like you said, Transformers, Turtles, I mean, and so on. He-Man, Masters of the Universe stuff.
My God.
So
Warren, my mother, my mother never watches these videos. I have to, my mother just said, Jason, you were 2 when you went to Miami to visit Nana and Daddy Lou. So, so Nana and Daddy Lou, that makes perfect sense. I mean, so yeah,
nice.
so when I was 2, I was in Miami, and that would have made you like 90 when I was there. No, I'm just playing.
Yeah, yeah. And also, were there any pictures of me on the wall?
Right,
No,
there could have been. Right, right. So, were there
no.
any pictures of the Florida Jay Leno?
Yeah, there.
So, 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 so I was showing my wife. I go, look at, this is my buddy Warren, and she's like, Jay Leno's your friend. So has anybody? Obviously, you've heard that. I mean, you must have, right? Yes, of course, right? Otherwise, you wouldn't have made that face. Of course, you have. So you
it's Mac tonight. No.
You get that as often as I get Ben Affleck, then. Which is,
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah. Well, I was going to mention that. I was going to mention that I was wondering how much you get bothered by J-Lo, and how many
yeah,
times
man.
J-Lo, knock on your door and go, come on, Ben, we
right?
We got
like,
a
yeah,
at the
man.
beach or something,
Hey, and so yeah, so I've been trying to go to the beach once a week. That's part of my that was my thing. Oh, my mother just informed me that I went to visit Daddy Lou and Nana before Epcot Center was built and Disney was there. So I'm like old.
Wow, yeah. So we're like, we're both in that same category of relics of the past, I think.
You're like the same age as me, dude. I give you a hard time, but you're like the same age. I know.
I just look older. You've been able to retain your your youth, and I just look like I'm twice the age that I actually am.
And you're so not, right. And you know what the deal is they told me when I was a kid, it's really funny. My grandfather,
like 100, but no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. My grandfather was bald, and they go, "Oh, you're gonna get your hair from your grandfather." And then so I just expected to sort of go bald, and then I just never did. And now when I go to the barber, they're like, "Oh man," they're like, "You're never going bald." And I was like, they go, "Oh, you're
amazing." But look at this, man. I got that little receding hairline gimmick going on there.
Gimmick.
Hopefully it keeps going. Right. Okay, hopefully so it keeps going, and I just keep it. I get to keep the hair.
Let's talk about that. In some of your other movies, you have really long hair, but is that a wig? Are you wearing a blonde wig in one of those films, the Alien movie? Or are you not? Is that your real hair?
No, yeah, it's my real hair. Yeah.
So how is it blonde? Or is that just, is it just golden? Like, how does it look that way? Like, you don't look great in those videos.
Well, through my lineage, I have Sir Lancelot as my, no, I'm just, Prince Charming is in my bloodline. No, no, but no, it's just something, like my mom and my dad, it's like my mom had sort of a little bit of that color to her hair, and I have it. My dad was more like the brown hair color, and for some reason my hair as a blonde was prominent, but through the years it's kind of changed. It's sort of ash now. The gray is starting to show up,
You know what's, yeah, man, I'm telling you, I'm starting to see this like little stuff. And yeah, you got the Reed Richards going right there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
So that's dope though, right?
Exactly. That's what it is. It's sort of like the Reed Richards kind of thing going.
There you go. If Marvel is paying attention, I never recommend anybody, but look at you. You're beautiful as Reed Richards. Like, you'd be perfect. So someone who is watching this should cast you as if you do the Leno look, and Jay Richards. Someone needs to cast you as that,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
Leno, a Wish version of Leno as Reed Richards. There you go.
There you go. I'm the Wish version of Ben Affleck, and
Yep.
as Michael in Coffee Breaks,
as Greg,
as Greg,
Dad.
as Dad. So that's really ironic because you're not that much older than me. You're really not. You and I are near the same age, and so you to be playing Dad in that role, like it's really just, you know, like some actors really do older characters or younger characters, as we've seen on, you know, high school shows, you know, those kind of things. So you know, so how is that for you? Is that just another role, or is that like, okay? Because for me lately, I've been cast as Dad quite a bit, and you know, I always go, oh man, cast as Dad again, and then I think, well, that's the role you look like. So, you know, how do you feel about it? You know?
Well, I was offered the part of the therapist, and I was like, I just played a doctor, and I didn't want to play a doctor again. Because to me, a therapist is still kind of a, you know,
a version of a doctor, right?
Yeah. So I was like, you know, what else is there? And they're like, well, we have the part as Dad, but it's a really small part. You're only going to have like, you know, so many lines, you know, and you get to do, I think, the Lord's Prayer or something like that. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that's fine. I'll do it, you know, because it's like I just didn't want to play the therapist again, or play a doctor again, rather.
Right.
You know, like, let's just go right into that, and you know, I'll play a doctor. I mean, I'll play the Dad. I don't want to play the doctor. So they were like, all right, no problem, cool.
Yeah. So the Dad character then, yeah, because the doctor ends up being Wesley Ure, right? Is that his?
Right.
Wesley Ure was casted. He was cast as that.
Yeah, he's Dr. Clark. And
right.
So yeah, and that's, I think he's going to do phenomenal. I mean, he's such a great actor. And then also the most recent casting, we had to do the recast, which was like kind of tough for me, you know, to have to recast a friend, you know, in a movie, especially with the person being so excited about getting in. But he told me he's not real. He goes, I'm not real disappointed or real upset. He goes, I'm more happy for you that you're playing Dad, that you're in the movie.
And you're talking about Walter, right?
Walter, yeah.
Yeah.
And then we had to recast Walter, and and we're recasting Walter. We did with Jerry Superin from Small Wonder, the '80s science fiction TV sitcom.
Remarkable. I mean, again, you're talking Hollywood people, you know, in the film, and I know I'm the lead, but it's remarkable. These people who've done real work, you know, and don't get me wrong, I do stuff, but it feels like these network people are big time, you know?
Oh yeah. It to me, that's just phenomenal. I'm like real excited, and it's like, and for me, it is the biggest movie that I'm going to be doing, you know, because to this point, because I've done a few things here and there, but I've never done anything with like major Hollywood talent, you know.
Right. And we're shooting in Colorado, and we have, like you said, major Hollywood talent attached to the project. Let's mention some of those people. Obviously, we talked about Jerry Superin. We talked about Wesley Ure. We talked about Kathy. Give me her last name. I'm sorry.
Coleman.
Thank you, Kathy Coleman. Liz Fletcher's on board. Sarah Christine, but also John Lair. You know, and to mention, yeah, I'm having coffee with him on Saturday. We got moved, but I'm seeing him this week. You know, he was obviously. Yeah, so he's you know, for our audience, he's the original Geico caveman. You know, when I tell people, hey, I'm having coffee with the Geico caveman, they go, well, which one? Well, the only one that counts. You know, the only one that matters to me.
The guy that went on to be a lead of 2 of his own shows. You know, like
there you go.
10 Items or Less and Quick Draw. You know, I mean,
yeah,
major TV show. I mean, one was on what was it? Turner. One was on Turner Network, and then the other one was on, I believe, Hulu. So I mean, that's big, that's major.
Yeah, I mean,
And
every time I talk to him, he's like, oh, I got a pitch meeting this weekend. I got a pitch meeting this weekend. I don't even know what he's pitching, but he seems to be pitching a lot, you know?
oh yeah, yeah. Oh, he's pitching all the time. He's like, really he's real active with, what he's doing and trying to get things because he's got something with his friend Bob Clendenin, I guess, going on. And
Yeah,
that he mentioned I saw on Facebook. And Bob's a really great actor. I wish we could have got Bob in Coffee Breaks. Um, and I mean, these guys do some amazing improv comedy. It's just
yeah,
phenomenal. I mean, some of the stuff they do. And
right.
so that, you know, that's how I got to know John was through Quick Draw. I added him on Facebook and then I started to talk to him and we became friends and there you go. And then I asked him about Coffee Breaks. Would you be interested in a part in Coffee Breaks? And he said, yeah.
Yeah,
And then he told Matt, he was like, give me something small,
right.
Little does John know, when this series happens, because I mean, a lot of people don't probably know about it, but when the TV show happens, the streaming series, we're going to be bringing John's character back in script, so he's going to be coming back.
Well, yeah, because like you said, John has a small part in the film. In fact, him and I worked together on that, which is fantastic for me, being in a
Right?
scene with him. And besides his friend, being in a scene with him is fantastic. But there is definitely room for him on the series. With him on the
Oh,
series, that character on the series could really take that series on and make it less comedy, more drama. Even obviously he's comedy,
right.
so I guess I would call it a dramedy. But really, I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
I think that dynamic of what his character is, again, not giving too much away, but his character and my character don't necessarily see eye to eye some days. you know.
There could be some real good comic moments like between the two of you as, adversaries. I think
Like a
I
Dwight
think
and
there
Jim
could be.
sort of comedy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like a locker room, like, a situation like where it's like these two don't get along. They're both athletes, but they don't, you know what I mean? That kind of deal. But one's
Right,
more
right.
competitive than the other in whatever area of the story. And but yeah, I think it'll be phenomenal. I mean, it's just all this great talent. Um, you and then with Liz and then like you said, we have John Lear. Jesse Hayman's going to come in and play the part of Justin, which he'll be able to work with him, and he's going to be in the Christmas scene. And for anybody that doesn't know who Jesse Hayman is, he's been in like tons of commercials. Like,
Everything.
I mean, he's a background guy who's been in like major Hollywood films, TV shows.
Mindy
He's
Kaling
even done.
show, right? Lots of stuff.
Oh, I
He
mean,
was in
he's
Old
been in,
School.
yeah, and he's playing Justin, which I'll get to work with him. He's playing my son in the story for my character.
I work with him quite a bit. He, yeah, if he, I mean, I have a lot of scenes with Justin, is what I
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
mean. So
And
we,
so does Sarah. Sarah's going to be working with him as well.
it's
So
true, it's true. And
yeah.
I really bummed we lost the interview with Sarah that we did because it was fantastic. We'll get her on the show again.
Oh, absolutely.
Coffee Break Thursdays. What you call it? Coffee Break Thursdays sounds like a great name for the show, right?
That works.
Like
No, I
Coffee
don't
Break.
have my coffee nearby, but
This time I didn't do the coffee mug. I usually do, but this time I went with the National Lampoon's beer glass.
and
So
he's got a nice little brouhaha in
there
there.
you go. That's
That's
it.
yeah,
I mean, man, I'm living that actor life. I'm living that beach
that's
life.
right.
We're feeling good over
Got
here
the
on an
beach
interview.
scene, doing the beach. He's got his drinky poo
That's
there.
it. You know me, man. I mean, my life is what it is. It's so blessed, almost embarrassingly so.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
Thank you, brother. It's friends like you, man, that really make my life better. Honestly,
Oh,
it's
thank
always
you.
been. Let me say this: as successful as everybody claims I am, I could never do it without people like you, without my friends. Even when I was in the toy business, I needed my friends. So it's not me. It's us. And definitely. So I want to give a shout out to you as well as the other people who've helped me. It's not
Right.
just me. But I do live the best life, though, and thank you to you guys for making that happen. So, Warren, before we wrap up, tell us what you got coming on. Obviously, you're so busy with coffee breaks, you really are. But tell us what else is going on. You and I have talked about a few projects coming up that you're either lined up for or you're going to be taking on in the future. And then tell the people where, on top of that, tell us where we can find you, where the people can connect with you. People who really do, like I said, man, networking is how you get on film, right? So let us know, tell us all that. What's going on?
Okay, so what did you want? You wanted me to tell where I'm,
Too many questions.
where people can find me and stuff like that.
Well, let's start with what do you have coming up? What do you have on your plate?
Okay. Coming up, we have. I mean, there's some scripts that we have down the pipeline. There's something with Walter that I want to do that we want to bring you in on. Of course, it's Till Death Do Us Part. It's a film. It'll be shooting in New Jersey. And hopefully,
sold.
If not, you'll be coming. If not, you'll be coming to Florida. If not, you'll be coming to Florida because we'll be shooting it in Florida. If we don't
go to Miami once.
There we go. Just watch out for the snow. Have to go to Miami with
Walter.
Just avoid the snow.
Walter has to dress as Alexandra because I love that. And that's the deal.
Great.
Let's just do this. Let's just do this next week. Okay, so go on. I'm sorry I interrupted you. Go on. I'm so excited.
There's another script, Short Ordered Buzzkill.
Yes.
That's another one we want to bring you in on that one. John Lear is supposed to play a character in that one as well.
And we want to bring Sarah on that one too, I heard.
Yeah, we can bring Sarah in that one too.
Right,
yeah,
very
exactly.
Good.
I mean, I think she would be really good in that one as either the morgue worker or the sexy morgue worker.
The sexy one. They always have a sexy morgue worker.
That's right.
Why is the forensics girl so hot?
Every movie or TV show should have one.
Right?
Even if there's no more.
Yeah, why is the show always quirky and punk with tattoos and adorable? Always.
Yes.
Right.
Absolutely.
Okay, so anyway. Right. But Short Order Buzzkill, go on.
Okay, so we got that one. That's a comedy. That's a stoner comedy horror movie. Written by Tom Stolgren. It would be directed by Matt. And and then you and I have a fan film project.
That's right.
That Matthew and I have talked about. Where
the only movie I'm going to shave for. Oh, we decided I wasn't going to shave until later. That's what we decided.
Right, yeah. me, I'm going to have no hair.
Right. For that character.
For that character. So, but yeah, it's a very interesting relationship that the two of them have. Volatile at times, but I mean, they're still friends, I think, to a certain degree, even though they're frenemies in a way, maybe.
Right. They have a weird need for each other, but don't want to like each other. I feel you.
Right. Yeah. They don't want to like each other, but they do somehow.
They have to. Right. They need to.
They have to. Mm-hmm. And it's just going to be that's going to be an amazing. I think that's going to be an amazing film.
Oh, I do too, and I'm excited to work with you on that.
I plan to get emotional. I plan to get emotional somewhat with that.
Right.
Because there is a part there. When it paused, I paused.
Your video, right?
Why it's pausing?
We lost our audience during the freeze. It's so funny. Okay, keep going.
It's weird, It's really weird. I don't know what that is.
Right.
But we're using. So anyway.
So you and I have a movie coming out, or have a movie we plan on working on. You have many projects. One with Walter. What else can you tell us?
Okay, so yeah, we got all that. And I just want everybody to get excited for Coffee Breaks.
Definitely.
The movie's going to be amazing. It's a great script by Tracy Simpson. of course, you in the role of Michael. I mean, I can just see it's going to be phenomenal. So many great actors, great script, and the TV series is going to be a great continuance for the characters after what happens. I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to give it away. Um,
Right, right.
but okay, so you want me to go ahead and just let them know where to find me now? I can do that.
Absolutely.
Okay, I can be found on Facebook under Warren Madden, and the same on Instagram. Those are the only two that I'm on at the moment.
Well, I think you're Madden.Warren on Instagram, right?
Is that how it is? I'm not sure.
I think yeah, I think it's
I'm
I think
not.
it's
Is that what
Madden
it
dot
is?
Warren. Madden dot
That's
Warren
weird. Kind of
W
like
A.
turned it around or something. That's really odd.
I think you did. I think you're Madden Warren on Instagram. So they can find you Warren Madden on
Okay,
Facebook and
Madden Warren. Okay,
yeah. So I think that's you on Instagram.
Madden Warren on Instagram.
Very good. All right. Well, buddy, thank you for the interview. It was wonderful. Good to talk to you.
It
And
was excellent. It's always great, I mean, we chat mainly. That's all we pretty much do
we
on
talk a lot, right?
Facebook and Messenger, but we've done a lot of that, and trying to get these interviews set up sometimes can be a little, you know,
You've
you
been
want to pull your hair
facilitating the
out.
interviews. It's true. You have. You've been bringing it
It
together. So,
sometimes gets to be a little much, but
so
we get it together somehow.
we sure do. All right. Well, Coffee Breaks Thursday. I guess we'll see you next week. And directed by Tracy Simpson. Written by Tracy Simpson. Directed by Matt Sly. Warren, thank
Right?
you for everything, not just for being a
Well,
guest,
thank
for
you.
being my
Great
brother, for being
interview.
great casting, for everything you do for the project. We all appreciate you.
I thank you for that, and much love to you, my friend.
Thanks, brother. Talk to you soon.